What's up, y'all? The time has finally come. The time has finally come. We have a West Coast hip hop icon celebrating a big birthday. But first, I'm going to give you my quick halftime report on tonight's opening season between the Houston Rockets and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Rockets got crushed in the first half, giving up 32 points in the first quarter while scoring 21. Then they gave up 40 points in the second quarter while scoring 24. At halftime, Timberwolves 72, Rockets 45. Oh, this is going to be tough for the Rockets to make a comeback in the second half. Well, we'll see what happens. So that is going to do it for my quick halftime report on tonight's opening season between the Houston Rockets and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now let's get to the West Coast icon birthday that we're celebrating today. Today is the 50th birthday of Calvin Cordozer Broadus Jr., better known by his rap name, Snoop Doggy Dogg, Snoop Dogg, Big Snoop Dogg, the Dog Father, Snoop Lion, whatever the hell he be calling himself these days. But to me, he'll always be known as Snoop Doggy Dogg during his days with Death Row. Snoop turns 50 years old. He is a half a century. Wow. I just can't believe it. I got one shirt of Snoop that my sister got me for Christmas last year, and that I got for Christmas the year before in 2019. So let's get right into this rant about Snoop, man. Snoop was born Calvin Cordozer Broadus Jr. in Long Beach, California on October 20th, 1971 to Vernell Bernardo and Beverly Tate. Vernell, who was a Vietnam War veteran, singer, and mail carrier, left the family only 3 months after Snoop's birth, and thus he was named after his late stepfather, Calvin Cordozer Broadus Sr. His father remained largely absent from his life. As a boy, his parents nicknamed him Snoopy because of the character from Charlie Brown. He was the second of his mother's 3 sons. His mother and stepfather divorced in 1975. When Broadus was very young, he began singing and playing piano at Golgotha Trinity Baptist Church. In 6th grade, he began rapping. As a child, Snoop sold candy, delivered newspapers, and bagged groceries to help his family make ends meet. He was described as having been a dedicated student and enthusiastic churchgoer, active in choir and football. Broadus said in 1993 that he began engaging in unlawful activities and joining gangs in his teenage years despite his mother's preventative efforts. As a teenager, Snoop frequently ran into trouble with the law. He was a member of the Rolling 20s Crips gang in the East Side neighborhood of Long Beach, although in 1993 he denied the frequent police and media reports by saying that he never joined the gang. Shortly after graduating from high school at Long Beach Polytechnic High School in 1989, he was arrested for possession of cocaine, and for the next 3 years he was frequently incarcerated, including at Wayside Jail. With his 2 cousins, the late Nate Dogg and Lil Half Dead, and friend Warren G, Snoop recorded homemade tapes. The 4 called their group 213 after the area code of their native Long Beach at the time. One of Snoop's early solo freestyles over Hold On by En Vogue was on a mixtape, Wound Up with Dr. Dre. The influential producer was so impressed by the sample that he called Snoop to audition. Former NWA alternative affiliate, the DOC, taught him to structure his lyrics and separate the themes into verses, hooks, and choruses. When he began recording, Snoop took the stage name Snoop Doggy Dogg. Dr. Dre began working with him first on the theme song of the 1992 film Deep Cover and on Dr. Dre's debut solo album, The Chronic, along with the other members of his former starting group, the Dog Pound. On November 23, 1993, Snoop released his debut album, Doggy Style, by Death Row Records and Interscope Records. The album debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200 and number 1 on the top R&B/hip hop albums chart, and was certified 5 times platinum, selling 806,858 copies in its first week alone in the US, which was recorded for a debuting artist and the fastest selling hip hop album ever. Doggy Style was included on the Source magazine's list of the 100 best rap albums. The 3 singles from the album include What's My Name, Gin and Juice, and Doggy Dog World. Snoop Dogg released a short film about Snoop's murder trial. Murder Was the Case was released in 1994, along with an accompanying soundtrack. On July 6, 1999, Snoop launched his own record label, Doggy Style Records, and he was registered with the California Secretary of State as business entity number. I'm not going to tell y'all the number. Snoop was found not guilty. He was acquitted of the murder charge on February 20th, 1996. According to Snoop, after he was acquitted of his murder trial, he did not want to continue living the gangster lifestyle because he felt that continuing his behavior would result in his assassination or a prison term. Snoop collaborated with Tupac in the 1996 song Two of America's Most Wanted from Tupac's All Eyes on Me album, which was one of the last songs that Tupac made before he was shot in Las Vegas on September 7th and died 6 days later. On November 12, 1996, Snoop released his second album, The Dogfather. Just like Doggy Style, The Dogfather debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200 and number 1 on the top R&B/hip hop albums chart, and was certified double platinum. But it failed to match the commercial success of Doggy Style. This was Snoop's last album under Death Row Records and his last album under the stage name Snoop Doggy Dogg. The 3 singles from the album include Dogfather, a remake of Biz Markie's song Vapors, and Snoop's Upside Your Head. Says Snoop's Upside Your Head. By the time of the release of Snoop Dogg's second album, The Dogfather, and by the way, The Dogfather was released a week after Tupac's The Don Illuminati's 7 Day Theory album. Among the many notable hip-hop industry deaths and convictions were the death of Snoop Dogg's friend and label mate Tupac and racketeering indictment of Suge Knight. Dr. Dre had left Death Row early in 1996 because of a contract dispute, so Snoop co-produced The Dogfather with his cousin Daz of the Dog Pound and DJ Pooh. The album featured a distant style from Doggy Style, like the song Snoop's Upside Your Head. After Dr. Dre withdrew from Death Row Records, Snoop realized that he was a subject to the ironclad time-based contract and refused to produce any more tracks for Suge Knight other than the insulting "Fuck Death Row" until his contract expired. Fuck Death Row, that's funny. In 1998, Snoop signed with Master P and No Limit and released his third album, The Game Is to Be Sold, Not to Be Told, on August 4th, 1998. His first album with Master P and No Limit, following his departure from Death Row. You got to give Master P credit for saving Snoop and his career, because Snoop was going through a terrible time in Death Row, especially since the racketeering indictment of Suge Knight and the death of Tupac. And this was also his first album under the name Snoop Dogg. Just like Doggy Style and The Dogfather, The Game Is to Be Sold, Not to Be Told also debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200 and number 1 on the top R&B/hip hop albums chart, and was certified double platinum just like The Dogfather. The 3 singles include Wolf, Slow Down, and my all-time favorite of the album, Still a G Thing. Yeah, give Master P credit for saving Snoop in his career. When Snoop signed to Master P's No Limit Records. We're going to get to all the movies and TV shows that Snoop was in a minute. On May 11th, 1999, Snoop released his 4th album, No Limit Top Dog, also under No Limit Records. The album debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200, but still on number 1 on the top R&B/hip hop albums chart, and was certified platinum. Down for My Niggas, which I thought that was C Murder's song. I didn't know this was on Snoop's album as well. Down for My Niggas, Bitch Please, and G Bedtime Stories were the 3 singles off the album. You know that song Bitch Please with Nate Dogg and Exhibit? Yeah, it's off the No Limit Top Dog album. I did a rant about this album last year on its 20th anniversary. On December 19th, 2000, Snoop released his 5th album, The Last Meal, his 3rd and final album under No Limit Records. The album debuted at number 4 on the Billboard 200, but still number 1 on the top R&B/hip hop albums chart, and was also certified platinum. 4 singles: Snoop Dogg, What's My Name Part 2, Lay Low, Wrong Idea, and Losing Control. On November 26, 2002, Snoop released his 6th album, Paid the Cost to Be the Boss. This album was under his label Doggy Style Records, Priority Records, and Capitol Records. The album debuted at number 12 on the Billboard 200 and number 3 on the top R&B/hip hop albums chart, and was certified platinum. This was the album that had that song Beautiful with Pharrell and Uncle Charlie Wilson. And From the Church to the Palace are the two singles. On November 16, 2004, Snoop released his seventh album, R&G, Rhythm and Gangsta, The Masterpiece, under his label Doggy Style Records, Star Trek Records, and Geffen Records. The album debuted at number 6 on the Billboard 200, selling 225,000 copies in its first week. And it debuted at number 4 on the top R&B/hip hop albums chart. And the album still went platinum. Good. This is my favorite Snoop Dogg album of the 2000s. The 4 singles include Drop It Like It's Hot, Ups and Downs, Let's Get Blown, and Signs. People said that this was Snoop's last tolerable album. Some people said that this was Snoop's last good album. I agree with the people who said that. This is the only Snoop album that I have for now. I'm not going to order any more Snoop albums probably until next year. Maybe I'll try to order Doggy Style and The Dogfather and pay the cost to be the boss since it is turning 20 years old next year. On November 21st, 2006, Snoop released his 8th album, The Blue Carpet Treatment. The album went number 5 on the Billboard 200 and number 2 on the top R&B/hip hop albums chart, and was also certified platinum. The singles from the album include Boss Life, I Wanna Love You with Akon. That's the clean version. The dirty version is I Wanna Fuck You. That's That Shit with Robert Kelly, Candy, and Vato. On March 11th, 2008, Snoop released his 9th album, Ego Trippin'. The album debuted at number 3 on the Billboard 200 and number 2 on the top R&B/hip hop albums chart. This is the album that had that song Sensual Seduction. That's when Snoop Dogg was using autotune and I was not feeling that song. On December 8, 2009, Snoop released his 10th album, Malice in Wonderland, debuting at number 23 on the Billboard 200, selling 61,000 copies in its first week. On March 29, 2011, Snoop released his 11th album, Documentary, debuting at number 8 on the Billboard 200 and number 4 on the top R&B/hip hop albums chart. Snoop released his 12th album, Reincarnated, on April 23rd, 2013. Dang, Snoop released a lot of albums. He released his 13th album, Bush, on May 12, 2015. His 14th album, Kool-Aid, on July 1st, 2016. His 15th album, Never Left, on May 19, 2017. His 16th album, Bible of Love, on March 16, 2018. I Want to Thank Me, his 17th album, on August 19, 2019. And he recently released his 18th album, From the Streets to the Suites, on April 20th, 4/20 of this year. I'm going to have to go, this is going to have to go into 2 parts because Snoop has released a lot of albums. He has released 18 albums between 1993 and now. So I'm going to go into this into 2 parts. So Be right back with part 2 of my happy 50th birthday Snoop Dogg rant.